very low key on New Year's, but bro, these college games, if there was ever a time where I've made the argument that college football, these final games,
here we go again,
that these final games are so good, that's one of the best sports days. Tell me that it did not live up to the expectations.
I like how you've staked out this piece of real estate, how you are the one who likes college football. This is, you guys don't understand, college football is really
just
great.
This final day is amazing.
It was. This time it was. There were two great games.
So
I hate that TCU won, but it was a terrific,
but your reason for why you hate
too many people in the community. Too many people in my specific neighborhood that root for TCU.
Let me get this
I
right.
don't like to see anybody
happy.
This right.
There are people within your community that are all TCU fans, randomly, or family goes, or whatever it is. Okay. And because they represent, by the way, not Ohio State, not Georgia, not Alabama, not one of those programs. Texas Christian University, because they are rocking their gear, you actively root for them to lose against Michigan?
Against anybody. Doesn't make it be against Baylor. It could be against SMU. I don't want anybody to have something that I can't have.
Give me the thought process.
It's that.
It's
that simple. If I can't enjoy it, I don't want you to be able to enjoy it. I want to be able to enjoy the thing that I like, and I don't really want you to have something that I can't enjoy equally. And I don't have any rooting interest in seeing TCU win these games. So
I get it.
I want to watch you lose.
The Yankees, Duke, the Patriots, TCU.
And I like teams that matter, and they're going to go right back to being what they were before. And then, maybe that one time, I don't want them to have the one time. I want them to be like, I don't know, Oklahoma State. Just go be over there and go be a thing.
Did you watch both games?
I did.
Okay, so this is New Year's Eve. Timing of it was awesome. Usually Lakers play on New Year's Eve. They're not playing, so anyways, everything worked out. I'm sitting there with my girl for the the Georgia and Ohio State game.
Mm-hmm.
And look, she doesn't watch sports, period. But for some reason, she sits on the couch, and we basically watch the entire game together. Bro, it's hilarious. Hilarious watching her get that excited about a game that she has no idea about. She knows nothing about what's going on or any of that stuff. Is that a sack? Yes, that is a sack. Like asking questions like that. But even somebody who has zero ties to any of this, right, does not watch football at all. Those games were so exciting.
Well, you didn't know who was going to win right until the very end. And one upset did come through. The other, Georgia hadn't had a game come within what felt like 5 touchdowns all season long. And you were deep into the fourth quarter, and you had no idea how this thing was going to unfold. Ohio State had a chance to kick it at the end. It was a terrible, terrible kick, but it happens. Whatever. They were
actually thought
great
Ohio
games.
State was going to win the game.
They certainly had a great chance. They're really good. They lost one game to another team that's really good. Yeah, that one was far that they were able to hang. Was less surprising to me than TCU
beating Michigan
pulled the upset, because TCU's they're good. All of my nonsense aside, they're a very good team. I don't know. I like to see to use your point, the Final Four. I like seeing Duke and North Carolina. It makes sense to me. I like seeing UCLA and Kentucky. It feels right. The World Series should have the Dodgers or the Yankees or the Red Sox or the Braves, the teams that if all of a sudden you have a World Series where the Minnesota Twins, sorry Taylor, my go-to are in there. It's like, well, this feels weird. I don't want him to have a nice thing that I can't have. I got to root against him. This is my thing. If it's not my team, I don't want anybody to win.
No, the underdog. I'm always going for
I know
them.
you do. I know you like them. I don't like that. I like the teams that
I don't think the
belong.
ratings like the underdog either. I
No.
think they do want the two powerhouses.
They like good games for sure.
Yeah.
And then there's SC, right? SC, you ready for this? They lost 3 games this year, right? Mm-hmm. They lost 2 to Utah, and they lost to Tulane in the Cotton Bowl. They gave up 46 points to Tulane. They gave up 43 and 47 to Utah.
Yep.
A couple of weeks before the Pac-12 championship game, they gave up 45 points to UCLA. They won, but they gave up 45 points to UCLA. They gave up 533 yards in the Pac-12 championship game. They gave up 539 yards in the Cotton Bowl. They are ranked 119th out of, do you want to take a guess at how many Division I college football programs there are? Defensive rating? They're 119 out of, anybody? 131.
Oh, my God.
So there are only 12 teams in the whole, and by the way, that's the MAC, that's the Sun Belt,
Sure.
that's all of
everyone,
them.
Mountain West.
That's everybody. USC, which overnight built an offensive juggernaut. Overnight, they put together an offense that was so good that they had Caleb Williams win a Heisman Trophy, that they're going to have NFL players all over. They couldn't find one guy to make a tackle? You can't find one person to get a stop because everything that Lincoln Riley didn't get done at Oklahoma is what didn't get done in this first year at SC. And yes, people are bullish on the offense. And yes, Caleb Williams is that good and that exciting to watch. You can't ask the man to score you 50 points a game. That's an unrealistic ask of anybody. 50 or 43, 47, and 45, and 46 in 4 of your last 5 games? That just simply is not acceptable. And I don't know how you fix it because you've said it before. Doesn't he know? Don't you know that you have to go? And I say the same thing to you every time. Yeah. People do the same stupid thing over and over again. That's just human nature, that you constantly do the same thing. And we've gone from, I don't know what Lincoln Riley's going to do, to this is awesome, to they might go to the Final Four, to, oh, my God, that was a disaster, right back to, I don't know if this is going to work at all. In, what, a month and a half, 2 months?
So I don't think I'm as I think USC is going to – it was an important year. It was a critical year. It was a growth year. And I think they accomplished most of the stuff. Look, if they beat Tulane, I think our conversation would be a little bit different. Not that you justify how much they give up on the defensive side. What I think I have the bigger issue with is, and I know we're kind of beating a dead horse here. This is why Oklahoma never won a national championship. They could get to the college football championship. I was seeing this. I think it was Lendell White. I think it was there was a few former USC players that were active during that game. It's like, what are we doing here? There's no why even play if this is Tulane. It's not like you're taking on the big powerhouses, or it's not like you're in the college football championship.
This was not Georgia or Alabama or Tulane is better than their name represents, but you're right. This was not a team that they're not going to put 20 guys in the NFL next year.
You would just think that if there's a game SC could maybe take control of, maybe SC, and you can't be so dependent on your offense to do everything. It puts a little bit of taste in what was a very successful USC season to an extent. I think now you start kind of looking at it, and now you're poking holes. Lincoln Riley seemed untouchable a month ago. Lincoln Riley seemed like, hey, this guy can do no wrong. Wow, this guy came in and instantly changed the scope of USC that quick. I'm not saying it's all gone. I'm just saying that there's a lot more articles and stories and conversations about how Lincoln Riley cannot or has not adjusted from a defensive standpoint since he was in Oklahoma, and then he gets this opportunity here at SC.
It's the same thing, and you felt it unfold, right? They give up the touchdown. They were ahead by 16 or 15, with just a shade over 4 minutes to go. They give up a touchdown. Then they have the botched special teams play that pins them super deep in their own end. They give up the safety. They get the ball back. And all of these things just led to the same problem over and over and over again. And you kept waiting. Okay, they're going to get a stop. There's no way they give up, what was it, 2 fourth-down conversions on the final drive for the game-winning touchdown? You thought at some point SC would have somebody that would make a tackle. And Lincoln Riley was talking about it after, about how they were going through all the long runs, the long pass plays. You're going to give up one here or there, but all season long, go back to they had – this goes back – what did I say to you? I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks since I said SC's really good, but they're going to lose games because they can't stop anybody. It took a lot longer for it to finally show up.
We thought it would happen either versus UCLA or Notre Dame or one of those games.
They kept dodging bullets along the way, and Utah was a really good team and got them twice. And then Tulane, who's a good team. I don't know if they're a great team, but they're a good team. Yeah. And anytime you get into one of these if you're going to the Cotton Bowl as a Tulane player is a big deal.
Of course it is. You see their fans look like they just won a national championship.
It is a big deal. They don't go to games like that. Yeah. SC going to the Cotton Bowl is a letdown. We were this close to going to the Rose Bowl. We were this close to being in the Final Four. We were this close to being one of the most important games in the entire year. The Allen Sliwa New Year's Eve special.
New Year's Eve special.
Right. And now we got to go to the Cotton Bowl. All right, fine, whatever. And that team that kind of has that usually loses. The offense showed up. The defense didn't.
So, but I'll push back on that because I thought coming into the game as well, hey, it's not a big deal. It's the Cotton Bowl. They're going up against Tulane. They played like it was a big deal.
The offense did.
They did. But what did the defense do? No. The same thing they've done all year, right? So, like, you actually looked at that game. That game wasn't that much different than some of the other results that you had during the season.
No.
Caleb Williams was great. The offense was great. They scored anytime they wanted to. And then at the end, who had the ball last? Oh, it was Tulane. Well, they're going to probably win the game because they can't get
Why can't they fix it? Like, when you look at how quickly they turned the offense around. The SC was bad last year. They're bad. And then overnight, they got really good on one side of the ball. Mm-hmm. I get it. Lincoln Riley's reputation, his relationship with Caleb Williams. Yeah. I get why it was better, but I don't get why it was the only side that got fixed. You would think somebody in the room would say, hey, guys, I love all these players, but half the game we have to be on the other side of the ball. Should we not address that at some point?
I will. Probably not the best way to put it. I'll give them a free pass that, you know what, this was their first year. They did end up going, 11-3, I think, on the season. They were 4-8 last year. They are exciting again. They did have a Heisman Trophy winner. I'll give them all that. But next year, if you're still having the same problems, Trav, I don't know what to tell you. I really just don't know what to tell you, because it's not even just Lincoln Riley. It's also the university. It's also your athletic director. Hey, I know you want to do it this way. Cool. Sounds good. And when you're winning games the way you were winning, and when you're a game away from making the Final Four, that's a different conversation. We obviously have a clear issue here. We got to address it.
But it's the same issue he had at his previous stop.
But weren't we going to give him a second to come in and fix things up?
But put it to you this way. If they lost that game because they lost it 13-10, they just couldn't find the points. Okay, you lost the game. But when they lose, they only lose one way.
Same script.
46 to Tulane, 43 and 47 to Utah. They lost 3 times. All of them were 43 or more points. That's an insane amount of points. That's 7 touchdowns scored. They escaped. But they still gave up 45 points.
Mm-hmm. Think about it. If you're a young person and you're going to be have all the highest people trying to recruit you, so you want to come to Lincoln Riley if you're an offensive player. He's going to get you a Heisman. He's going to have a Heisman candidate quarterback throwing you the ball. You're going to look amazing on the offensive side. And the USC built this team off of transfers. What transfer wants to come to play for USC to look terrible on defense?
Well, but okay, I hear the premise. I think is decent, but the answer is obvious. SC has tons of NIL money. That's a big part of this right now, right? SC is in the second biggest city in the country. It is a college football royalty. Right?
And they're a defense away from competing for a national championship.
3 good players away from being in this thing. This isn't, hey, come here and be part of us building this thing over the next 10 years. This isn't, you're not selling them to come to Arizona. It's SC.
But they had one of the best players in defense this year playing for them, and it still didn't make a difference.
It didn't this year, but all the pieces you need, you just need a handful of guys. And by the way, the pitch, listen, we're not building, you are the...
Have every resource you need. So it's not like SC